Hi everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So we're doing something a little bit different again today. So off the back of the build that Rob and I from DURC did a little while back on the Unimogs, we were contacted by Adam from Cape Crawlers, and we've decided to do a three-way build off this time on one of these, which is the FMS K10. Now, I'm not fully up on these, so this is the first time I'm having a look at this, but it's a Chevy Blazer. I don't know what era, but from the body style, I'd guess sort of 80s. But it looks absolutely fantastic. It's an 18th scale, but it seems a bit bigger than most of the other 18th scales. So that's good in a way, because that means that it makes it a bit easier for me to modify. But it's got loads of really cool features. It's got some really nice suspension on it. The usual thing like bonnet opens, so could potentially do something in there. And we've got this nice big back body as well. It's got pretty cool bumpers, so again, could maybe do some metal work there. Yeah, it looks really cool. Let's get the battery plugged in and just have a little play with it and see what features it's got. And then that's going to give me some more inspiration as well towards my build. Right, for a little crawler, it's actually packed with some really cool features. A channel 3, which is a 3-position switch, which actually gives you a 2-speed gearbox. So you've got high, neutral and low. Not sure why you'd want neutral really, unless you were towing it or something like that, but still cool to have. But you've got high and low gears, so that's obviously low, that's the high. There we go. There we go. Using the channel 4, which is this little button here, you've got multi-function light. So for what you get for your money, don't think these are particularly expensive. I think they're around $150. Yeah, what more could you want really? You've actually got metal suspension arms, which is pretty cool. The wheels are plastic, but they are a sort of beadlock, but we might look to replace those. Overall, for what you get and what you pay, I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to get on YouTube, start watching a few videos, and see if I can get some inspiration for something that I can build on here. But I've got something in mind, and I think it'd be pretty cool. So I've been over the truck, taken some measurements for a couple of bits that I want to make, and got a couple of ideas. But it'd be interesting to see what Rob and Adam will do, whether we'll end up doing something similar because of the style of the truck, or whether we'll do something completely different. So that's what's really fun about these build-offs. So yeah, please have a look at both Adam and Rob's sites. I will put links below for their YouTube channels. And if you've got anything that you think I can do to this, then pop it in the comments below, and maybe I can add that on as well. So yeah, let's get on it. Right, so as you can see, I've come up with an amazing cool design, and we know that because it says it's there. So I'm going to make a recovery truck. This is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be my first Chevy, so that's quite cool in itself. But I've just been drawing out like a simple recovery hoist for the back. This is like a template that I can use to cut my metal, and it's going to go in the back bed. I might even do it so the tailgate still works. I think that would be pretty cool too. And no recovery truck would be complete without a nice big hefty front bumper. Let's get our designs finished. Let's get some metal cut and let's get welding. Okay, so we've got the first bits cut out, laid them on the plan. And next bit I need to do is the hose where the line's going to go over the top. So I'm just going to have a bit of a think about how I'm going to do that and stick them together. Now, I know I go on about it a lot, but I love this welding table. It's my own design and it saves me so much trouble. As you can see, I've got this all pinned out. These are the clamps that I made, very simple. Anybody that's used a full-size welding table, you'll get the principle. These clamps, they lock into the holes like this. and then you just slide it up and down so it's fully adjustable. And when you've got it where you want it, you just do the little knob up and it holds it all in place. So I can peg things down, I can pretty much get them where I want them to weld them together, and honestly it just saves me so much time and aggravation. There we go, that's the start of my pickup or recovery crane. So I'll go inside, I'm going to make some 3D printed brackets to hold it, so that's what it will pivot on. Something for the cable to run over, and then I'm going to make some like imitation hydraulic rams. I think that'll look quite cool. Yeah, quite pleased with that. Okay, so I'm just masking up, getting ready to lay down some paint. I only really need to mask the windows off to start with. I'm going to get some undercoat on it, and then I can do a bit of masking for. I'm going to go for a two-tone look, so very similar to sort of the lines that it's got now, but with some more sort of realistic colours. So yeah, should look cool. Probably try and get that grill out as well, because that'll probably be a pain to mask up. Yeah, for a little truck, it's got a hell of a lot of screws in it. So I need to figure out what ones I actually need to remove and what ones I don't. Yeah. Paint time, always fun. Okay, I think we're going to call that it for this build. That is all of the aesthetics done. Really pleased with how this front bumper's come out. That's going to be really useful for those heavy recoveries. And on the real trucks, it would add weight as well to counterbalance, obviously, the back. We've got the flashing lights on the roof. These lights, I think, look very period. I like the fact they're warm white and not that bright white. Got some of these stickers just to work as accents on the side, just to make it look a bit more sort of recovery truck. Found a set of wheels that I've put on there, which I think look a lot better. They've got some nice chunky wider tyres, which are going to suit it better. And it also allows it to sit down a little bit. Sitting on those portals, it raised it up a bit. And personally, I thought it was a little bit too high. So I'm much happy with how that's sitting. I've also got 3D printed foams in here as well, so that should help with its off-road capabilities. So around the back, we've got our winching accessories, so that will connect to the axles on the vehicle we're going to tow. Just behind there, we've got a useful vise, some traffic cones, trolley jack, toolbox with a few tools, plenty of spare fuel. We've got a winch in the back here, obviously for lifting our hook, and a spare tyre. So all in all, really pleased with how this has come out. The patina looks nice. We've even got a little twangy aerial, but can't wait now to get it out, get it into the woods, and give it a proper run off road. So let me know what you think. Head over and look at Adam and Rob as well and see what you think of theirs. But one thing that's always better with crawlers is getting some of that low down weight, and quite often we do that by we add brass. So seeing as I'm not doing loads of performance mods, I thought I'd focus on the one that I am doing, and we can look into not the science of it, but what does it actually relate to. So I've set up a little test jig here, and we're going to do a couple of tests. So let's go into that. So here I've got one of the brass kits. These are complete axles and portals and diff covers. So what I need to do is remove all of the original parts from the axles that come with the kit and fit them into these axles. But by fitting this brass, what does it actually mean? What does it actually do for us? So how are we going to test it? Well, all I'm going to do, I'm going to place the model on here. I'm going to keep everything the same with the exception of the axles. So the friction of the wood is the same, the tyres are the same. The only variable is those axles. And what we'll do is we'll do a couple of tests where we tip the vehicle like this, and we'll see how long it holds on for before I fit the kit, and then we'll fit the kit, and then we'll do the same test afterwards, and we'll see if we've actually improved the rollover angle of the truck. So this isn't overly scientific, but it's going to give you a good visual representation as to why do we fit brass and what do we actually gain by fitting it. So here we go. I'm just going to zero this gauge, and I'm just going to increase the angle until such time as it tips. And I'm just going to put my hand here because I don't want to damage the model. So 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. It's just starting to slide a little bit. 35, 36. 37. So first 37 degrees. I fitted this little angle at the back just so it doesn't roll off. So we'll zero our meter again, and here we go. Now I'm not holding this at the front, I'm just putting my hands there to stop it from tipping off and breaking. Last thing I want to do now is damage it. So we're at 54, 55, 56, 57, 60 degrees, 54, 5, 66 degrees. That's impressive. 66 degrees. So again, we'll write that down, and then we'll get these brass axles fitted, do the test again, and see if it's made any difference at all. Well, that wasn't a quick job, but I'm glad that I've done it. It's given it a nice stance with relation to the weight distribution. So just a quick look underneath. I think you'll agree they look pretty cool. Did have to play around with them a tiny little bit. So obviously when you make millions of something, you're going to get a few or a bit of wear on a tooling. So I've had to clean up a couple of bits to get them to run smoothly, but that's not uncommon with this sort of stuff. And also because, I'll just take that off quick, because the rear is a 4-link, where the top links attach, normally on a 3-link you'd have a bolt go straight through, and you'd have a clear hole one side and a threaded hole the other side. So because this is 4-link on the back, I just had to put a nut on the back of one of the ball joints, but it's no biggie. It's just, it's a bit of an oversight on their part, really. So yeah, that's the axles on. So let's get the test jig over here and we'll do the same tests again and see what results we come up with. Great, well hopefully you can see that okay. So we'll just turn our angular gauge on, set it back to 0 and do the test again. So last time we got 37 degrees. So I'm just going to put my hand round, so excuse that because I don't want to damage it. We've got 37, so see how much difference we make this time. Now we might find it starts to slide away first, but 35, 36, 37. So it's actually coming out about the same. So let's try that again. I'm trying to do it as slowly and controlled as I can. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So actually, side hilling or tipping over sideways doesn't seem to be any different. So let's turn it round, try it the other way and see if that makes any difference. Try that again quickly. Hopefully you can still see it. But like I say, it's not completely scientific. I'm sure everybody's got their different variations of how to do this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'd say 69 degrees. So we've gained 2 degrees of how would you say it? Back tip, probably the best way to put it. So side hilling, we seem to be the same, but back tip we seem to have gained 2 degrees. So in all honesty, it's most likely going to lose traction before it tips back, which is not a bad thing. But out on the trails, it's not going to be flat like this is. So it's not completely scientific, but it's just a fun little test to do, just to see if it's made any difference. So all I can say is obviously we've added a lot of low down weight, which is always good. This is not a scientific test at all. I just thought it would be fun, and the proof in the pudding is going to be when we get it out on the trails. So I guess what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at Adam and Rob's models, and hopefully they're having a look at mine as well, and see and compare what we've done and how they look. So let's head over there now. So here we are, we're going to talk about Adam's truck a little bit. First of all, I want to say a massive thank you to Adam for joining in this build, and both Rob and Adam for inviting me in. I think Adam's done a fantastic job of this thing. It was quite interesting that he did mention that he was going to go with an off-road recovery theme, which is obviously what I went for. So, this style of truck is often used for that sort of thing. But that candy lime green is amazing. I've never seen it before. I'm certainly going to use it in the future because that thing pops. And with those wheels, the Inura deep dish wheels, it really gives this truck a really nice stance. I love that. There's a lot of sort of comments about the toolbox as well, which I like the toolbox, and I'm very much the sort of person that accessorises a truck. So he said he got sand ladders in there and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, if you're going to go out with a truck like this, you're going to need that sort of stuff, aren't you? It was fantastic that he got out of his son Axel as well. My lad used to come out with me when he was a bit younger, but he's sort of outgrown that. So that was really cool for me. And the story behind Adam choosing this, I used to spend a lot of time with my mates. I was a mechanic when I first got into work for many years, and I spent so many evenings with my buddies under the hood of trucks or cars or motorbikes or whatever, getting them back on the road. We didn't have loads of money, so it was very much a case of everybody sort of chipped in and helped out and made do. So that story really stood out with me. So yeah, loads of interesting mods there, and I look forward to seeing what Adam's going to do with performance mods, because Adam's definitely the king of performance mods from the videos that I've seen. So that's enough with Adam's. Brilliant truck. I look forward to seeing it running out a bit more with all those accessories on. And so let's go over and take a look at Rob's build. Okay, well, where do I start? Firstly, I've got to say again, massive thank you to Rob for inviting me into this build. To have two absolutely YouTube megastars invite myself in has been an absolute honour, really. So thank you very much for that. So first of all, Rob hit with the Tamiya weathering stuff. Now, I've used this stuff before, but I've only ever used it dry. I didn't ever really think to sort of wet it and use it with the sponge things that come with it. So that was quite interesting. It's given it a really good look. And with the little sort of details of the painting and bits of rust and stuff, he's hit those sort of places that it would rust, like around the door handles and the locks. And I think that looks brilliant. I had a really fantastic time with Rob on that Unimog build. So if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that series as well, because we had an absolute blast. And Rob and I, we live in the UK, but we don't live close. So we were really lucky we got to go to an event, and we met up at the event and we ran those trucks. So that was really cool. And that Fair RC flatbed, that is a brilliant piece of kit. It's the sort of thing that I would use. I'd certainly use it for one of these sort of recovery truck builds. So if you're interested in building like a recovery truck build or something, I'd definitely hit them up and go for one of those, because it's a good bit of kit. It looks 3D printed, but it looks like a really good print. So Rob's done a really good job with that. The interior, it's a shame about that. I didn't go for an interior just because it was sort of a time constraint as well, really, I guess. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because both Adam and Rob both commented on the fact it wasn't the best, which I think is a bit of a shame, because with a really good interior, it would really make these trucks something completely different. So hopefully whoever's making that interior is watching these videos and maybe gets a bit of an idea to sort of make that a bit better, or improve it a little bit. Indiana Jones in the pack, brilliant. Rob had mentioned a little while ago about Indiana Jones. I didn't think he was going to use it on this build, but he looks great in the back. And honestly, with them chickens in the back, absolutely cracked me up. Thinking outside the box, definitely, with the straw and the sort of farm truck theme. I love it. It really did make me chuckle. And just lastly, using those Blazer wheels, the 1.0s rather than the 1.3s that come with it. Now, I've used 1.3s on mine, but I think the profile of my tyre is a little bit smaller. Definitely in keeping with the sort of the truck. And those Black Label tyres, nice big wall on them, nice bit of squish as well. So yeah, again, absolutely brilliant build. I can't wait to see all these trucks out on the trails. So here we are back in the workshop, just wrapping up after that little video. Hope you enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun to do. Certainly a little bit different to what I'd normally do. So I really enjoyed going out. My wife helped me with a little bit of driving while I was filming as well, which was brilliant. I thought to make it look a little bit more realistic in the video as well, I would 3D print this truck. I'm sure a lot of you know what it is. I don't know. Looks like an American style truck to me. But yeah, put that together just for something to tow. And I think you'll agree, it looked fantastic in the videos. So all in all, this K10 did a really good job. The only modification I did performance-wise was those axles, and they did really well. The low down weight certainly helped, and when I was in that bog, I thought I wasn't coming out of there, but I just kept pursuing, going backwards and forwards, and eventually I came out. And that part of the video probably was the most fun for me. As you can see, it's absolutely filthy now. I've got loads of cleaning to do, so I'll give it a complete strip down, give it a bit of TLC. Yeah, and get it looking pristine again, ready for the next job. I really enjoyed watching Rob and Adam's videos as well. They did some absolutely brilliant modifications to their trucks. They both look fantastic, and performance-wise, absolutely amazing. Far outdid me on the performance, I think, but I think I held my own in the look. So let me know what you think there. And I certainly learned a lot from them too. So all in all, would I recommend getting one of these? Certainly yes. There's a lot to do on it. It's a bit challenging on the smaller scales when you're building. I'm normally used to building 1/10 scale. Weight isn't quite so much of an issue there, but this has been brilliant fun. And I think for the money, and obviously you can see what you can do with it yourself with very little work and money, bit of paint and a little bit of metal work. I'm sure most of you will be able to do something like that, and a couple of 3D printed accessories, and I think it looks a fantastic truck. Apologies for calling it a blazer in one of the earlier videos. You certainly gave me some education. I'm not used to the American trucks. I'm a Land Rover man through and through. I've built a couple of Land Rovers. I've worked on Land Rovers most of my life, and I drive a Land Rover every day. So if someone said to me, do you want a Land Rover or do you want a Chevy? I'm sorry, but I'd probably go for the Land Rover. But I think you'll agree, this as a recovery truck looks absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for coming along and watching all the videos. I hope you've seen the other two, and I hope that you've watched Adam and Rob's videos as well. If you haven't, please go back and watch those. Also, my back catalogue, there's loads of videos in there doing pretty cool mods on some really awesome trucks of mine. So please go back and have a look through those. And of course, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. One last thing, I just want to say a huge thank you to Rob and Adam for including me in this build, and a huge thank you to everybody that has come along and supported us. So thank you very much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.